What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, doing the what's next on Canelo Alvarez, the current undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. You might call him the former pound-for-pound king. Depends on how you see that. After he lost when he attempted to move up to light heavyweight a second time and dropped a convincing decision to Dmitry Bivol. I had the fight 116-112 for Bivol. The judges had it 115-113, which is 7-5. I know there were some people that had to fight, basically 9 rounds of 3. Again, I had it 8-4. But the big question now is what's next for Canelo? This video, I'm going to discuss what possibly could be the 2-fight deal that he supposedly had. I don't know if that's locked in stone based on whether he loses one of the 2 fights, whether he's going to fight that 3rd fight for sure. But I think now he's following the loss, obviously a rematch, an automatic rematch clause. It was in a contract and a rematch is in play, but that's not a guarantee that Canelo's going for the rematch next, because I believe Canelo was lobbying for the rematch to take place at 168 super middleweight, and I think Bivol just declined that. At first I think he took some time to think about it, then he said no. So will Canelo go after Bivol again at 175? We really don't know what he's gonna do. If he fights at 175, I believe it will be against Dmitry Bivol. I don't think he's going to move on to somebody else at 175 prior to that. That wouldn't make sense. There's nobody really big enough, and there's no other champion besides the winner of Beterbiev and Joe Smith, and those guys are probably going to have to fight Anthony Yard in a mandatory defense next. And I don't think Canelo wants to go after the winner of that fight after dropping to Bivol. I think he's going to want to get his revenge on Bivol before he returns to 175. So that's if the fight with Bivol doesn't happen. Now I'm going to run through super middleweight and see what possibilities are out there for September and possibly December. Because if he goes and beats Bivol in September in an automatic rematch, even if it's a close one, I don't think we're going to see a 3rd fight in December, but he might want to return and take on Triple G Gennady Golovkin in December. Or does he maybe want to fight Triple G in September to gain some confidence and then move back to light heavyweight and challenge Bivol in December? That's all the options. So we're going to look at some super middleweight options. But first I want to look at the guys that are floating between 160 and 168 or haven't fully committed. You got Jermall Charlo says he wants to chase Canelo to 168. I think he's finally ready to give up his belt. I think he wants to allow his brother, Jermell, who just became the undisputed champion at 154, I think he wants to allow him to move up to middleweight without him being there as a distraction. And I think he wants to go after the title at 168. So is Charlo a possibility? I don't think he's a possibility next. He's fighting Sulecki in June. I don't think he'd be able to do a turnaround for March. Maybe he'd be willing to fight Canelo in December, but I don't think that's part of the deal with DAZN. I think that was predicated on DAZN fighter, so I don't see it. Now, Demetrius Andre, that could be a possibility right there, but I don't think Canelo wants to, after going after one boxer, I don't think he's going to come back against another pure boxer and do that. I think he's going to want somebody that is a better style matchup for him and also a bigger name. So after those 2 guys, we look at the rest of the 168. David Benavidez, he's a PBC fighter, so I don't see him being a possibility the second half of the year. Daniel Jacobs, coming off the loss to John Ryder, and that'd be a rematch. There really isn't a point for Canelo to fight Jacobs. He hasn't earned that fight. A rematch with Billy Joe Saunders, not going to happen. He already destroyed him. A rematch with Caleb Plant, not going to happen. He already beat him. Gabriel Rosado was in the top 10. He no longer is, following back-to-back defeats. He just lost to Shea Mosley Jr., so that's not a possibility. Anthony Durrell, PBC guy, not seeing that one. And then there's John Ryder. He just defeated Danny Jacobs. He was being lobbied as a possible opponent for December. So if a fight with what's his name is off the table next, I'm talking about Dmitry Bivol rematch, then I think Canelo, if he doesn't fight Triple G, would probably fight John Ryder, but I don't think Ryder's going to be next. I just don't. Tyrone Davis, another PBC guy, and then David Morrell, another PBC guy. So in all reality, I really believe that PBC guys are out as a next opponent. I really believe it's going to be Dmitry Bivol. I believe is what he's going to do next for sure. But I think Triple G going after him next, and then maybe Bivol in December might be the second avenue, the second route. It could be Bivol and then Triple G, Triple G. But I think the outside third option is a showdown with John Ryder. But I really don't believe Canelo is going to fight any of the PBC guys because they're not part of that DAZN deal that he signed. I truly believe it's going to be the rematch with Bivol, but I think the only thing that might stop the rematch would be the possibility of fighting the third fight with Triple G first and then fighting Bivol in December. That gives Bivol but that only gives Bivol more time to, get prepared for the rematch. So I really believe it's going to be Bivol, and if he feels up to it, he'll fight Triple G in December if he doesn't get banged up and beat up or anything in the rematch with Bivol. So it's a lot to think about for Canelo, but I think Canelo's just got the heart of a champion. I think if he fights Bivol next and loses, he could say, hey, the guy was just legitimately better than me at 175. 175 is not my weight. I'm moving back down to 168, and he can dominate there, and there's nothing to hang his head about. He's got nothing to be ashamed of if he does that and Bivol just proves to be better. But if he fights Bivol and beats him, he can float back down to 168, defeat Triple G, fight whoever else there while he waits around for an undisputed title clash against whoever comes out of the three between Beterbiev and Joe Smith, who are fighting in June. And then the winner of that fight is likely going to fight Anthony Yard in a mandatory title defense in the second half of this year. So that's it. That's the what's next for Canelo Alvarez, the Undisputed Super Middleweight Champion and former pound-for-pound king. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is